Hey guys, and welcome back to Z3 Cubing. I'm here at the 2025 Rubik's Cube World Championship here in Seattle, Washington. I just picked up my name tag, so let's go see what's going on. Now the first event of the day is 5x5 blindfolded, but I'm going to be starting out with an unofficial round of mirror blocks over in this secret side room here. My mirror blocks average went reasonably well. I guess I should have warmed up a little more because my first two solves were the slowest, but it's always super fun having unofficial events at competitions like this, and they were pretty much happening all day long. I did have a surprising number of center cap pops, but luckily, as long as there's only one of them, you're allowed to just set down the puzzle and then go ahead and fix it later. They just called up my first official event of the day, clock. I don't remember the last time that I solved a clock, so we'll see how this goes. And it went pretty badly. I like to say that lack of practice doesn't always make you slower, just less consistent, and that was definitely the case here with 2 decent times, 2 terrible times, and a DNF when I undershot the very last turn. It's now lunchtime, so let's take a look around the venue while things are a little bit quieter. That's the side room where all the slow people like me compete. Here is the Rubik's booth over here. There's the line to the cubicle, which is about a mile long as always, and there's even an autograph booth, which I get to partake in tomorrow. And I also just learned that there's an entirely different room for competing that's even bigger than the other ones. The size of this competition is truly massive. So we've got 4 more stages in here for the actual fast people, and then another 2 stages way over there for the really fast people. Yum. Back from lunch, and we are back in the slow person room because it is time for me to compete in one-handed. I think the theme of my official solves at this competition is almost achieving mediocrity. This time, I got an incredible scramble with a 1-move cross, and then completely brain farted an easy OLL and turned it into my worst time. My final event of the afternoon is Pyraminx, and apparently I'm fast enough this time to be on one of the main stages. Unfortunately, I didn't quite live up to those expectations. If you can't tell, I haven't been practicing speedcubing a lot lately, and Pyraminx is no exception. Let's just say that my Pyraminx PR is about as old as some of the kids at this competition. I did get a 0.13 second single though. So day 1 is finishing up with a couple of random second rounds, then there's going to be some sort of opening ceremony, followed by the Nation Cup, an unofficial race between all the different countries. So there is quite the crowd starting to form. China beat out Australia in the semifinals, so it all comes down to this: China versus the USA. And to absolutely everyone's surprise, yeah, of course China won. Good morning at the start of day 2. I made it just in time for the Rockies group picture, and my first event of the day will be an unofficial round of FTO. Looks like the cubicle line is as long as always. FTO went surprisingly well given my lack of practice. I was on pace to get that elusive sub-1 competition average, but messed it up in the last few solves, but at least that means I still have a lot of potential in this event. Let's go check out the first official event of the day, 7x7, and then it'll be time to sign some autographs. Alright, that was a lot of fun. Now it's time for my first official event of the day, 2x2. This round went pretty okay. I got a really lucky 3-second time where if I had just looked a few moves ahead during inspection, it could have easily been a PR single, but it's hard to complain getting a really good time with zero practice. It looks like they've got an entire room just dedicated to puzzle designers, so let's go check it out. So I'm here with Preston, who has created the 49 by 49, a Guinness World Record for the highest order twisty puzzle. So what I want to know is, how do you get this thing to the World Championships?
I wrapped it in a whole bunch of foam and then I buckled it into the back seat and I drove here.
That is incredible. So how big is it and how much does it weigh?
This thing is 13 inches tall, just about, and then it weighs 65 pounds or 30 kilograms.
That is awesome. And is this the coolest pattern that you've made on it so far?
Yeah, I just put it into this position to get it the proof done that every single piece works.
So this is Alex from the YouTube channel Cubes Made Easy, who has created all sorts of cool custom puzzles, including a super long square one. You told me this is the world's longest square one?
There is no square one in the world longer than this one.
And how does it turn?
It turns really well, actually. It has the same mechanism as all my other puzzles, just long, so it's really stable, and honestly, it's actually really fun to turn.
That is absolutely incredible. I'm here with Junior of the YouTube channel Megaminx Cuber, also fellow Coloradan, and apparently king of the FTOs. So how big is this one?
Its edge length is 2 feet and 2 inches.
Can you do a turn on it?
I can.
How long does it take to solve the whole thing?
I would guess the first solve is going to be closer to 10 minutes probably.
Yum. My next event is 4x4. Now this has a qualification time of 1 minute, fair enough, right? But then they also have a cutoff time of 45 seconds, the strictest that I've ever seen, so there's gonna be a lot of people not finishing their averages, myself included. And not only did I not beat the cutoff time, which is literally my PR single by the way, I also embarrassingly didn't even make the qualification time of 1 minute, which should have been easy for me. But alas, the lack of practice strikes again. Well, that went exactly how I expected. Now it's time to go do the exact same thing, but this time in Megaminx. I didn't even look at the cutoff time for this event. All I knew is that it was faster than the qualification time, which is faster than I could solve it now. But somehow, I still didn't do quite as bad as my last few Megaminx rounds. And to end off the competition today, they're actually holding the final rounds for a handful of different events, so I'll show you if anything interesting happens. And Timon just set the world record average in 5x5 after his third time being on pace this competition. That's the first time that record has been held by anyone but Max or Felix since 2010.
And the world champion of 5x5, Timon Koloshinsky. And in first place, Anthony Stoyak. The Rubiks world champion is Ezra Shear. And in first place, Neo Juarez.
Now for once, there are no late night unofficial events scheduled tonight because today is the 4th of July. So instead we get to watch the fireworks show. It just has to get dark first. Welcome to day 3 of the competition. Looks like the cubicle line has finally died down, so let's go get ourselves a shirt to add to our collection. The first event of the day is 3x3 blindfolded, always fun to watch, followed by a chance for me to actually complete an average in Skew. In Scube, I decided to go with the classic get distracted and completely forget to warm up strategy, so these were literally my first 5 solves of the day. And as you can see, I pretty much got what I deserved. Now it's time for my final 2 unofficial events. Team Blindfolded with a fellow Colorado Cuber, and the infamous Rubik's Magic. Team Blind actually went remarkably well, despite not even planning to compete in it until I got to the competition. The best single and average times that we got were actually my only PRs at Worlds, albeit in an unofficial event. Magic also went really well, although I just missed my PRs. I actually recently started learning the normal speed solving method for Magic where you don't flip it over in the middle, so hopefully when the next competition rolls around, I can set some really fast times. Let's take a quick break from the craziness to see what's going on in the world of FMC and multi-blind, which is in this secret little room upstairs. Another day, another lunchtime. Then after that's the main event, 3x3. Yum? Now, I spent the last few days practicing on and setting up my new fully custom 3D printed speedcube to make it actually viable for speed solving, so I could use it to compete with officially today. Well, I've just learned that it's technically not WCA legal because there's a slightly different texture on some of the pieces, so instead I'm gonna have to settle with one solve on the much worse but technically legal stickerless version. Unfortunately, I was hardly even thinking during these first 4 solves because I was so distracted by getting someone to obtain the stickerless 3D printed cube, which I had left in my hotel room. The legendary Ben Streeter of Ben Puzzles is now attempting the first ever solve of Junior's world's largest FTO, and after a few attempts of those last 3 triples, he finally finished up with an 11-minute time. Not bad. Now we're going to be finishing out the day with a round of 6x6, followed by a few more final rounds. It seems like they're kind of spreading them out, doing a few each evening, which is a nice way to do it.
Taking first place, Sebastian Meyer. Taking first place, Leandro Martin Lopez. Taking first place, Susan Rice. To the world champion, 7x7, Max Clark.
Good morning on the 4th and final day of the World Championships. First up, we have 4x4 blindfolded and square one. Now is the part of the day with all sorts of random second and third rounds that I'm far too slow to even dream about, and everyone's gearing up for finals. It's getting real busy in here. But first, it's lunchtime. Yum! Now before the start of finals, I just want to say that this has been not only the largest cubing competition in history, with 2,000 competitors, but also absolutely one of my favorites. It was actually watching videos about the last World Championships to be held in the US way back in 2013 that got me into speed cubing and showed me what a competition could be like. So it's been really cool, even though I'm twice as old now, to experience it myself and meet literally hundreds of you along the way. But without further ado, they're going to be starting out the afternoon with the final rounds for some unofficial events, which should be fun to watch.
the world champion in cube, Ignatia Senselski. And the world champion 6x6, Max Park. And the world champion in square one, Samir Agarwal. Everybody rewind to the world champion. With an average of 4.23 seconds, Yihan Wong.